We happy, what is it, Wednesday for you guys, most of you that are watching this one live. We are coming to you across numerous platforms here: Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, all the groups, all the fun. So do let me know if you are watching along live in the comments. I'm coming in a little bit earlier than normal because I'm super psyched to get this episode underway. So if you are coming in and watching live, guys, please let me know in the comments the terrible two, as normal, in here first. I love it. Good morning, Tez. How are you, my brother? My legend. Good morning, Nico. How are you, my man? I hope you're good. And of course, Abby, you're starting to get very consistent. Abs, I like it, mate. We're going to kickstart this video in this episode, I should say, in a couple of minutes, guys. It's going to be a really big one. Christy, how are you, mate? Whoa, look at all these guys and girls. How good. Maybe I should start doing podcasts a little bit earlier. Good morning, Will. How are you, my brother? And Ash, how are you, love? I hope you're fantastically well. We're going to start this one in, let's say, 90 seconds, guys. So tell me, how's your week been? If you're watching in live, I want to know what's cooking for the week, guys and girls. Are we making those deposits? Are we following the plan? How are we looking with the trifecta? They're the questions. They are the questions. I'm getting super excited now. The clock is ticking. Less than a week till we can get on the plane. Oh, I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. We're going to start this episode in 60 seconds, guys. And I think it's going to hit hard and going to be a really, really big one. So I hope we get a bunch of guys and girls from the Academy coming in to watch this one live. So a few of you are probably coming in and watching from the gym, I guess. Seems to be the way that a lot of guys consume the podcast. It's great. Let's get rolling in 30 seconds, guys. By the way, have you guys downloaded or subscribed to this playlist? Spotify's Chilled Cow. Weird name, good music. You're in the gym, Nicky. I love it, mate. I'm looking forward to catching up with you, Nico. It's going to be awesome, brother. Maybe we can get a pump in together. Abs is on her morning walk along the water. Well, I'm sorry to spoil it with my tone. All right, so let's get this music down. Oh, look at that fade. That's a good fade, Jace. Well done. All right, I think we are about ready to rock the Casbah. Let's do it. You forgive me. Nice one, Abs. I like that. Okay, so guys, if you do end up watching this later on, please hashtag replay so that we know that you've got stuck into it. We're getting around, it's about 1,200 downloads per month, which is pretty damn cool. So the podcast is really starting to grow. All right, so not much work, gym work. Yeah, get to my sessions this week. Good to see Christy back in motion, brother. All right, let's get started on this episode. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Welcome back to the Better Body Academy podcast. This is the podcast that you come to when you're sick of the dumb diets and unsustainable workout programs. And in today's episode, we're going to be talking about the mindset that keeps people stuck. I think a lot of people tune into these types of episodes because they're kind of looking for like what is it that's like still affecting me? Why have I committed to a transformation, but I'm still not moving at the rate that I want to move, or I just don't feel like I'm in momentum yet. And all those limiting beliefs and self-doubt start to come up. And I want to go to the heart of that in this episode. Guys, I do apologize in advance for the background. It's super, super messy. But the good news is that is because our shipment of client merchandise has arrived. It's all in here ready to go, and we're going to be bringing it off. So this is the UK gear. So we're going to be shipping that off over the next couple of days, and then all the Aussie gear, you can probably see it down here on the floor. So we're super, super psyched to see more of you guys wearing the BBA and representing our stuff. It's so, so cool. Thank you so much for supporting us, guys. Okay, so let's go back to the start of why I started Better Body Academy. So, look, I did my degree back in 2000 as a dietitian. And then, you start to travel the world and do different things, and you go away from that. And I ended up washed up in the corporate world for, 12 or 13 years, but eventually started to come round back to my passion. And part of the drive for doing that was seeing so many people my age just struggling with getting themselves back in shape. And I'm not talking about trying to have a six-pack. I'm not talking about trying to run a marathon. I just mean, why is it that so many, at the time, men, but now obviously women, just struggle? For me, it's just so easy to be healthy. And I don't mean that in an egotistical way. I mean that it is integrated. It's so integrated with my lifestyle that I don't go through these periods where I'm on the horse and off the horse and on the horse and off the horse. But of course, when you start doing this is part of the process. You're on the horse for a period and you're off the horse for a period. So I started to kind of loathe the fitness industry's approach. These kind of stupid, get fit in 28-day plans, and what I saw is my mates getting pregnant and having kids, and it just wasn't sustainable. What the fitness industry was pushing out to people, there seemed to be the message that was going out, but the message that was being applied was completely different. And so my whole thing was that if you can't do things for a week or a fortnight, how do you think you're going to do this for the rest of your life? And this is the reason why, for any of you that have been in the academy for a period of time, you know that I hate keto and I hate Manshake, two things that I take particular offense to, because they're short-term fixes. Unless you're going to just survive on powders, or you're going to eliminate carbohydrates for the rest of your life. Think of all those delicious homemade pizzas and fruit and vegetables and noodles and pasta and rice. Unless you are thinking of completely eliminating that for the rest of your life, why eliminate it for a period? Because if that helps you to get a result, then what's going to happen is the moment that you stop doing that thing, you're going to go back to doing what you did before and you're still stuck. So my whole goal was how do I solve this issue? And this is why our online approach, is to educate people as constantly as we can about the mistakes they're making and the better way to do this. So whilst it might be ideal, in the perfect world, it would be ideal if we could train 4 to 5 times a week, sleep 8 hours, do 30 minutes of cardio, a stretching routine in the morning and maybe in the afternoon, some meditation, eat a healthy breakfast, lunch, and dinner with no alcohol ever. Whilst that might be ideal, it's never going to happen. It's never going to happen. And particularly people that follow myself and our mission, it's never going to happen because that's not the goal. The problem is that the projection of this need for perfection to the general public means that fitness is out of reach of most people. And so this is the reason why people are on and off the horse. I'm actually, when I think of these episodes, I have a dialogue going on in my head at the same time as I'm talking. And one of my boys, one of my clients and very good friends, Keel, is watching this. And, this guy is just a beautiful guy. And he's on and off the horse up until recently, on and off the horse, on and off the horse, on and off the horse, back and forward, on and off, on and off. It's because he's oscillated between trying to be perfect, and the moment that he's not perfect, he's a failure. So you're working in this polarity that just never works. So guys, let me ask you a question. What is healthy for you? What is healthy for you? If I was to get you to picture or visualize what, you as a healthy man or woman, what things would come to mind? What would that look like for you? Maybe it's tucking in the belly a bit. Maybe it's losing some of the fat on the thighs. Maybe it's getting a little bit more composition. Maybe it's having more balance, more energy, whatever it is for you. How would that look? And if you were to visualize yourself as that imperfect, healthy man or woman, would the picture that comes to mind happen as a consequence of doing like this really strict diet and program or would it happen as a result of maybe just like a bit of a gradual lifestyle shift rather than like a heavy diet prescription? And see, here is the major mindset that keeps people stuck. You view yourself as a man or a woman doing healthy things. I'm going to say that again. You view yourself as a man or woman doing healthy things. Actions that you believe will get you the result, right? That's what you view yourself as. But whilst your actions remain separate to who you are, your identity, whilst your actions remain separate to who you are and your identity, it's never going to last. If you remain a unhealthy guy or girl that's trying to do healthy guy things, if you remain the same person that tries to do this idealistic approach, you are never going to last. And the reason is because there is friction between who you are and what you are doing. When you are out of alignment, you are fragmented. And what happens is the old identity that is you, that's always been you, that's held you stuck with all those self-limiting beliefs, that old identity, the poor you, the victim, comes back up constantly and eventually wins. Because that old you is reminding yourself that you're not this perfect person that you're trying to be. So this is the reason why you're out of alignment. You remain this unhealthy person that's trying to do healthy things. And you end up back at the start of your journey every single time. And so if you compare this to guys that I see, girls that I see that are most successful in transformation, what happens is there is a shift in their identity with the change to their actions and habits. So who they see themselves as changes. Through doing healthy things, I start to see myself as a healthy man or woman. And I repeat that every day. I'm a healthy man. I'm a healthy woman. And I bash that into my mind over and over and over and over. And I start doing the things that the coach tells me to do. And through repetition, one day in 5 or 6 months' time, you wake up and you're just a different person. You're just a completely different person. If you're watching on live, guys, I want to ask you, who has had that moment? Who has had that moment where you woke up and it wasn't like a conscious, like, you just all of a sudden you're like, I'm different. I'm different to what I used to be. I have shifted my mindset and now health and I are integrated. We are one thing. That doesn't mean that you don't do shitty things from time to time. In fact, for proof of this, go back and listen to any of the client interview episodes that we've done on this podcast with people like Christy, Nikki, Carly, Mike, Mark Edmondson, Corey Donnell, Travis, Luke Durham, John Timmons. All of these guys had a major shift in who they are, not just what they do. They started to consciously make decisions. They didn't act the victim anymore. They decided. There was a moment where they decided. And so I always think to myself that this is a tremendous moment. And what is the catalyst? Stick this out, guys, because this is an important podcast. Like, what is the catalyst? You want to know the catalyst? Correct me if I'm wrong, the guys that are watching this. The catalyst was you're in so much fucking pain being you. You're in so much pain being you. You were sick of the shit, the tiredness, the fatigue, how you felt when you looked in the mirror, the anxiety, the lack of confidence, the not fitting in the clothes, the lack of sex, the worry that you would never be free. Pain is the catalyst. Pain is the catalyst. Think about it. Pain is the catalyst of nearly all change in our lives. Usually we wait until something happens to us or happens to someone close to us and then we act, right? We wait until something happens and then we act. A heart attack, diabetes, even something like going bankrupt or losing a job or your partner leaving you. They are painful moments which catalyze massive change. For me, that's exactly what happened. Like, if I'm just completely honest, I got sacked after 12 years with the same company because the company, under the weight of COVID, it folded. So change came to me. I didn't make change on my terms. The thing is, I had the capacity to abruptly adopt that change quickly without it causing any long-term damage to me. But if you wait until a heart attack happens or you get diabetes, Jesus Christ, it's really difficult to change when that happens. But if we get on the forefront and start the transformation before the pain overwhelms us and swamps us, well, in that circumstance, guess what? Like John, like Dan Troutman, like plenty of the people inside the academy, we instead use pain as leverage. Now we're in the driver's seat. Rather than waiting, kind of putting our head in the sand for change to happen to us because the doctor says, you're fucked, you better do something about it. Instead, we are taking control. We're stepping in the driver's seat. So I want to tell you why I'm doing this podcast episode. Okay? I got a little bit of a motivation boner, to be honest. I love that term, a motivation boner. I was having a chat to a beautiful guy this morning who's friends with one of our very successful long-term members of the academy. And he has applied to join our academy. And he mentioned that he has a very long-awaited holiday coming in 3 weeks. And would I suggest that he starts after that, so in 4 or 5 weeks? So it's about 3 weeks away, a week or so of holidays, and so we'd start in 4 or 5 weeks. This is actually a great question, right? Should I wait until I've got a bit of clear coast to actually start? It's a great question, and it seems like common sense that you would just wait till things are kind of cooled down a bit so I can really give this a go. However, here is my strong opinion on this. As we discussed above, the goal of being healthy is integrating you and health as one thing. Yeah? It's not having healthy as a side hustle for a little while. That's not the goal. That will never last. So if you're going to do that, you might as well just not do it in the first place, because whilst health remains a side hustle and you remain the same person that's doing health as a side hustle, you're fragmented. It won't last. The old identity will come back and suck you back in again, like an autopilot. And so if being healthy is the goal, then truthfully, there's no perfect time to start. I think the fitness industry has conditioned people to think in blocks. Would you agree? In blocks. What 30-day period or what 2-month period can I commit to where I don't have any distractions, there's no social outings, I'll be able to live in a rabbit hole and just really focus on my nutrition and training? Do you guys feel that? You feel that that's like the push of the fitness industry? It's like, it's got to be, fitness is done in blocks. The truth is, there's never a right time. Dude, if you were prepping for a bodybuilding competition with a specific date you've been stepping on stage, I'd understand, because there's something that there's an end date to what you're trying to do. But if you're listening to this podcast, my thinking is that you're not stepping on stage anytime soon. or you're in the very minority of outliers that would listen to this podcast. My guess is that you're an average, everyday guy or girl that just wants to feel better, wants to probably have a little bit more sex and feel good about doing it, wants to look good naked, wants to feel good when they look in the mirror. That's it. You want more energy. You want to feel like you're a better role model. They're everyday things. Yet the case for most of us is that, we just don't have enough time. We're never going to get to a point where we have clear coast. And I know this straight away because I'm still working on integrating health myself. With, being time poor and a busy dad and 300 active clients, I'm still learning how to do this myself. And so rather than looking at things with a 30-day challenge mindset, this is the problem. Rather than looking at things with a 30-day challenge mindset, instead, why don't we move to a mindset which says, well, if I can do this now while I'm really busy and pretty stressed actually, if I can do this now, imagine how easy health is going to be when I'm on holidays, when I have all this time. Our gent that I was talking to might be thinking, yeah, I get that, Jace, but I want to enjoy a beer and some shitty food whilst I'm away. That's what I want to do. I want to enjoy the beer. And my argument to that would be 3 things. Yep, you should. You should do that on holidays. You should enjoy a beer. You should enjoy some shitty food. If it's a conscious choice, not a habit. So I would do the same thing. If I was on holidays, I would go and probably drink more beer than I would if I was sitting at home. Absolutely, you should drink more beer. Number 2, being healthy involves some indulgence. See the fitness industry causing you to think in blocks. 30 days, 2 months, 14 days, right? You think to yourself, oh, let me abstain from that alcohol for that period of time and I'm going to do dry July. And then I'm going to celebrate dry July by getting fucking wasted in February. like it doesn't, in August. It doesn't make sense. So rather than, it's about balance. And number 3, my point to, but I want to enjoy some shitty food while I'm away would be, but if you go too far and you actually start to punish yourself with booze and shit food, like really go ham, then you don't value your health enough to start a transformation at this stage. If you've followed me as we wrap this up, guys, for any period of time, you'd know that I go in a different direction to the mainstream fitness industry because my goal is to teach you what I do. People flash their qualifications around, but all I do is just point to what I do and what my most successful guys do. Guys that have lost 30 kilograms, like John Timmons and like Dan Troutman and like Lucas and Pete Groves and Travis Sanderland, and the list goes on. These guys that have lost 30 kilograms, yes, there was hard work involved, but they had a life as well. And so if your health is dependent on you being completely clear of social outings and back-to-back meetings, you're never going to get there. The approach is based on integrating health into your life until it gradually merges and becomes so integrated that you now consider yourself a healthy man or woman. There's no separation. Health isn't a side hustle anymore. And so if you're not in the academy and the reason that you're sitting on the fence about joining is because you just can't find the time to commit to 3 or 4 months, then I can tell you that's the exact mindset that's keeping you stuck. Because it's not about committing to 3 or 4 months. It's about dialing down the intensity and being consistent over the long term, realizing that there's going to be a hell of a lot of occasions where you fall off the horse before this ever sticks. So our goal should be less about committing for a set period of time and more about integration of health into our work life, into our social life, into our holidays, into our family. Does that make sense? One of my boys is saying, I like that. Healthy isn't a side hustle anymore. That's right. And it stops being a side hustle when your identity who you are, your self-image, picks up on the fact that your goal is not to get on stage or to have abs. Your goal is to be able to look in the mirror and like yourself and say, I am now a healthy man or woman. And if I'm going to go and eat takeaway and it's a conscious choice, that's okay. If I'm going to have some beers and it's a conscious choice, that's okay. But then for the other 80 to 90% of the time, I rein things in because I'm a healthy guy. And my identity is in alignment with the things that I am doing. Break away from this challenge mindset, this block mindset. If I can just get it perfect for this month, I'll lose 5 kilograms. That's not how it works, guys. Hopefully this has been valuable. If you got value from the podcast, guys, I would really love for you to actually do this. Please, if you're my client and you've not done a review, what are you doing? Help a brother out. Jump across to Apple Podcasts and just scroll down to the bottom under episode 1 and just leave us a review. It really, really helps people to see the podcast. On that note, guys, thank you so much for tucking in. I can't wait to get back there to Australia, give you all a high five and a bum cuddle. This has been the Better Body Academy podcast, and I'll see you in the next episode.